What we're always trying for, of course, is perfection.
I just wanted to talk about the response to the Crash video, which was very overwhelming. I was not expecting people to be as fair and as nice as they were. I've been stressing about it for what feels like goddamn eons now. You know, entire galaxies of stress have passed me by. Huge ships bearing stress have come to my harbour in the night. It's been a difficult time. And you guys have made it all worth it, so thank you very much for that. However, there are a couple of loose ends that I want to tie up regarding the whole Crash shebang, so bear with me now. I need to stop using that phrase. The image it conjures up is rather troubling. So the San Diego Comic-Con Crash Bandicoot panel was uploaded literally the hour that I uploaded my video. I got to see Dan Tanguay of Vicarious Visions, he's the game director, walk us through the tools they were using in order to measure the use of physics between the original game and the new one, the way that they adapted the assets that Naughty Dog handed over to them. Nothing that was huge news, but certainly a lot of really insightful stuff. It was also interesting seeing Naughty Dog kind of really go to bat for Jason Rubin. No mention of Charles and Joe. A lot of talking about, evangelizing of Jason Rubin's artistic direction and the fact that he had the illusion of life next to him the whole time. This doesn't really change the fact that he wasn't an animator first, and they were, and he did some amazing stuff. I mean, this is a guy who strong-armed a franchise together and a company and stuff, but, at the same time, Joe and Charles not being brought up, credit an artist is still such a big deal, and it's really sad to still not get the full story. What is the truth? That's all I want, fam. That's how you get far in life. It's also weird not to hear about Charles and Joe, considering that all their art will be in the really cool Dark Horse art book that they're releasing. So that's great. It was nice getting to hear Jeff Keighley do a couple of top RLM memes. So top hole, my friend.
Amazing. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, incidentally, Stormy Ascent was uncovered many, many years ago by an acquaintance I used to know on the Crashmania forums called Hack. And I want to give a little shout out to him because he didn't get credit for that and absolutely deserves to be known as the man who brought that to life, who pulled it out from the rubble that was the original Crash Bandicoot. Well done. All those sweaty nights were absolutely worth it. There's another image I need to excise from my vocab. So there were no massive contradictions, I felt, but there was certainly a lot of stuff I wish I could have put into the video to just bolster a couple of points here and there. Of course, that didn't stop the fact that I fucked up a couple of points, so let's cover those quickly. It's 10 jumps. It's always been 10. It's always going to be 10. It's never going to not be 10, and I don't know why I said it was 8. I was getting really stressed at a certain point in double-checking facts on the video, in particular when I got to the jumping, and I must have just looked away, and that's really bad, because what happens is someone comes across a point like that in a video and goes, shit, if he got that wrong, then what the fuck else has he got wrong? It's a very sloppy mistake, it's a very unprofessional move, and all I can say is that I can't let it happen again, and I feel really guilty that I let that slip out at all. I had written it as 10 in an original script. Hot damn. I was glad I made some footnotes on the tweening, but really I think you need a professional animator to come in and do a whole section on what is up with the in-game animations. It's something that I think is a legit issue, and I got across in the most succinct way that I could be happy with, but I really think it's a more nuanced issue concerning specifically timing. Yes, tweening is a really big part of that, but there's a way that those things are kind of used in tandem, and I could articulate them way better if I had given myself a little more time. But, you live, you die, and then it's done. Fuck. That's a really extreme way to make that point, but, que sera, sera, I guess. Doris Day saved me, thank you very much. Oh, and the end subscriber card, yeah. You go away from YouTube for a couple of months and you find out that they're not doing the flexibility they used to on annotations and all that shit that I used to use. So I didn't realise that it needed to be in the last 20 seconds of the video, so my top gag just undercut me very much so sorry about that. Oh, and just as a little addendum while I remember, I actually really like Entrance. I feel like he's a microcosm of everything that's wrong with Vicarious Visions' creative approach to the franchise. He's just so, non-funny haha and just completely misses the point, and I love him. He's perfect. Never let him go. Now, it might not sound like it, but I do really feel sorry for Vicarious Visions. It's so clear that they have a passion for this franchise. You see through lines that show that there are the same cheeky bunch of lads working on this who have their pet quirks about the franchise. Apparently, there was a bunch of them who were working on a game jam session who came to the director and said, you know what, instead of working on the game jam, we took the Coco model and made her fully playable, now put her in the game. That is a level of dedication that it's so heartwarming. But at the same time, it's a company that wants to be taken seriously, and all I was seeing was just really bland praise that was ignoring all of the shortcomings that I saw other people bringing up, especially artists who would kill to work on this franchise. That probably sounds like projection, but really I know so many people who would just absolutely hit it out of the park artistically, and it's really sad to not see that grasped by someone who's supposed to be a professional studio. And it's kind of why I felt less guilty about sort of laying into them where I did on the video, because yes, budget and deadline do play a big part into this. They're working under a really oppressive publisher, but they knew what they were doing when they decided to remaster all 3 games. It's a really, huge amount of work to undertake. I know that they thought that they could reuse a lot of assets and mechanics and stuff, but as they probably realised, there was a lot more to go into. And they even did that mechanically sometimes, really worked out the nuances of each game individually, so it's a task that they were readily aware of. I was even less inclined to be nice to them when I saw that they'd released a memo where they essentially told all players with genuine gripes to get good, and I kind of admired it, but I feel like if you can stand up for your game that hard, then some video from some weird little mongoloid is not going to be a problem. These are the kind of guys you go up to them and you'd set them on fire and they'd just sit there and be on fire. If you probably can't tell, all of this rambling is a big part of why I've been panicking the last couple months, because my brain cannot seem to pull things together the way I want to really get this channel moving. The reason I've been on this hiatus is because I've actually been trying to write all of these videos. I've been trying to record them, and they've ended up being rewritten and re-recorded. Material that I wanted out in April and May has, it's still being worked on, and it's nearly done now, so you're going to see stuff come out a lot sooner. But I just really lost confidence in myself, and I don't know quite how I can get back the mojo of sitting in front of a microphone and just not giving a shit about saying things, and this right now is the only method I can think of to get over that hurdle. The Crash video was a real benefit to me. It was something that allowed me to really push forward on a project, something I knew I had to get out, and has kind of rebuilt a little bit of that confidence. I was so concerned with it that I rewrote this video at least 4 times, and on the 3rd time, I was talking to a friend in the pub and I said to him, I am thinking of going back in and doing it again, because even though I've recorded it and half the editing is done, I just feel really bad every time I come across something that I know I can change and do better. And he said, well, you could always do the extra credits thing where you say, oh, by the way, this is all the stuff I got wrong in another video, and that's kind of why this is here. But I knew that at the time of publication, I needed to put out the most honest appraisal. I have a duty of care to you guys to make sure that if I know there's a problem, I need to address it. I need to address it before it goes to you guys. Otherwise, I'm being dishonest. I think that worked out in the end, so that's good. But this still leaves me with the problem of the hiatus, and I am trying to get over that as we speak. I have 2 more videos coming out which are nearly done. The ukulele video is also something that I'm working on. It was a video it's been very painful to put together, more so than usual just because of the nature of the game and the fact that I've actually seen some people who have addressed it in really well-articulated ways. I do think I've got something I can bring to the table that other people might not necessarily be doing, so that should be coming up around the corner sometime this year. In the future. Just keep extending that deadline. It's fine. Run away from all your problems. Get away. Fuck. Of course, I'm not doing myself any favours by the fact that the next 2 videos are nothing to do with video games, so, just slowly digging my own grave as time goes on. But it really is you guys who make it worth it, and one of the nicest things I saw, one of the things that really touched me was seeing people who I really respected and see a lot of, both content creators and audience members, really sharing it out and trying to spread the word. I don't know how to repay you guys other than to say, please check out these lovely people. Favourites of this month are CloudCuckoo Country, his excellent book reviews, where he really goes in depth about dialogue and the nuances of language. As the son of 2 English grads, it's fucking perfect. I say that like it means something, it really doesn't. And then there's the Please Stop Talking podcast, and let me tell you, please never stop talking, especially David. Good job still breathing. As usual, leave questions here, and I will try to get back to them in a future Q&A video. And, yes, it's, blindingly obvious, but I really do love the Crash Bandicoot franchise. It's how I met so many of my friends, it's a part of what drives me creatively, and it's just consistently fun for me to sit down and talk about. I always have time to find the energy for Crash. So you can bet that when something else related comes up, I'll be right there. It's you and me, boy. Forever and ever. And ever. And ever. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You just remember what your old pal said. Yep, you got a dead in me.